This afternoon, it does feel as if we are actually joined in the studio with our own Laurel and Hardy, because we have got Dave Shaw and Wayne Kelsall here. But we're just going to call you Stan and Ollie, I think, for the rest of the show. They were at last year's
It's a
Edinburgh
very good idea.
It's going to be one of those shows, isn't it? They were at last year's Edinburgh Fringe Festival performing a play that Dave actually wrote called The Laurel and Hardy Story. And Dave, you've had a fascination with this duo from a very early age. Where did it start?
I think as a child it used to be on a Saturday morning, and I always used to watch, and my friends did as well, and it's just come from that really, and I've sort of done a bit of research since, and it's just taken off from there really.
And this play then,
Yeah.
how factual is it?
It's probably best described, it starts off, it's a bit like This Is Your Life. It starts off from them both being boys, where they were born, going through to them getting together with various other producers in America and starting and the rise to fame, and then ultimately the quite a sad end really, but it's about a 45-minute play that we did for Edinburgh, and it's got songs and sketches within it as well. So,
How did you find your Hardy?
my Stan?
Oh, you're Stan. I'm getting really confused.
I don't know really. We're about the right size physically, and just in a mirror really, and hopefully I actually didn't think we looked like them, but people in Edinburgh seem to think we did, so it's gone all right thus far.
You mentioned the sort of ideas behind your writings. What did you think when this film came out then? Because it almost feels like they may have heard about yours and have written a film on the back of it, because it sounds like it's a similar sort of theme that they're covering.
Yeah, it's about the final tour in England when they weren't doing too well to start with then. But we haven't seen it because I don't think it's coming to the island, so we're looking forward to watching it really, because I mean Steve Coogan's a superb impersonator from Spitting Image onwards, and I've always admired him, so it'd be really interesting to watch it.
I did get in touch with both the cinemas over here this morning to see if and when the film was coming over here, but nobody knew, unfortunately, which is a
Well,
shame.
the thing is, there's not just those two big cinemas, of course, that we were talking earlier, and there's Peel, Films in Peel, and also Patchwork Cafe that do films in different places like that, so fingers crossed one of them will pick it up.
Wayne, where did your interest in this duo come from?
The same as Dave, really. As a kid, we liked watching it on a Saturday morning, and I've always wanted to do it for years, but I've never actually had a Stan. And I did ask somebody you might know, for Dave Dawson, many moons ago, and he ummed and ahed about it. But Stan is a lot shorter than Ollie. Ollie was about 6'2".
So 6 foot and Stan's about 5'8", so we're right size really.
Yeah,
quite lucky.
whereas Dave is taller than me, so it worked out really well when Dave was a big fan and I was a big fan, and we thought, go on, let's have a go.
Now, they did both have quite well-established film careers before they set up as a duo, didn't
Yes.
they?
Yeah, they did, yeah. Ollie always played the bad guy, didn't he?
He played the thug or heavy,
Yeah.
you know, sort of the bad lad in the films. And Stan, they got together purely by accident because in reality, Oliver Hardy was a big cook, and he burnt his arm on some lamb, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Cooking
lamb,
some
yeah.
lamb. So couldn't do a film. Stan filled in for him. Then they met, and I think Hal Roach thought they were funny together. And these things happen in the show business, don't they? These happy accidents just occurred, and they put them together, and then they took off. In the short films, the two reelers. That's what the short films are. So they're about 20 minutes long. That's where they were at the best in sort of 1932, around that. That's when they won their Oscar for The Music Box.
Yeah, because Stan went to America originally as understudy to Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. And
So that's how
left
we
high
got
and
there.
dry. He got left high and dry by Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin got a break in films, and Stan ended up he was skint. He had to come back in vaudeville, and then went again, and that's when he met Oliver Hardy.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why Stan then had that sort of quite intense work ethic? Because he was quite obsessed with wanting to succeed in the business side, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they were very different characters. They always got on, but off screen they weren't together that much because Stan was always obsessed with writing and directing and producing and being on the set and getting everything right. Where Babe Hardy, as he was known, was more happy with just going to the racetrack and living a life.
Because the film that's out sort of bills itself as telling the other side of the story, because we don't know a great deal about their personal lives, but they did seem to be quite turbulent.
Well, Stan was married 8 times. So I mean, he was quite a party boy as well. That you don't see his. I mean, on screen stands like a child. He's innocent. He's magical. But you don't see that side to him when he was off screen. He was quite. I mean, he was the one that wanted to break away from Hal Roach and form his own studio. And Babe was always just happy to go along with things and keep the salary the same. Where Stan was always trying to get further.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival last year. You had a great reception.
We did.
Yeah.
And you've been invited back.
Yes, we went, and this time it was difficult to sort straight away. And Carl Parker was great help because he's been before and he's taken the youth group up there. He advised me a lot. But you're doing it quite blind until you get there. So we hired a place, went up there, and basically when you get there, every venue, everywhere's a venue. People's front rooms become a performance space, and ours was part of the university. It was part of the University of Medicine, and I think it was I'm sure it was a basement storage room that they put lights in and sound, and it became our 63 seats theatre for a week. And then when we came back, I got a cheque for an undisclosed amount. It was about £90. I didn't know where it had come from, and I rang the venue people, and they said I got the boss by accident, and he said he'd been looking at our figures, and considering where we were and we were on in the morning, we'd done quite well, and he'd seen us up at the Royal Mile, so he invited us back this year to go back to do 2 weeks at a much bigger venue. So we're looking to do that now. So hopefully we'll do that. So.
And you've also been around places here in the Isle of Man. You're open to suggestions as well as to other places to go.
Well, before we went, we did Southlands, and we were awful there, weren't we?
We were. You were awful, I was okay.
And we did Abbotswood, where we were equally as bad. So we did those places, and we're looking to. Are we doing the old folk what is it?
Yeah, we're going to try and get on at the old Friends Club to do the show. We're going to talk to Taffy about that, and then we've been invited up to Derby Day. We've now got a car that we can use, thanks to one of our sponsors, Steve George from Port Erin. Yeah, it's going really well, isn't it?
Yeah, and on that, we couldn't have gone to Edinburgh without the Arts Council.
Oh, the Arts
They
Council,
backed it. They were invaluable. We couldn't have gone without. And other people as well have been so kind. I mean...
and we flew the flag, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, yes, we did.
Steve George?
Yeah, Steve George was a good one. Kath, the little woman from Port Erin, even give us a tenner. There you go, lads, help you on your way.
Yeah, and Di at Di's salon in Port St Mary, she dyed my hair and cut it for me for nothing, which is, it helps. It's great, and thanks very much, Di. So, and she's doing it again this year.